times a week, and while they go shower, their legs are chained as an extra security measure. In El Chapo's room, there's a tiny 4x4 window designed to prevent him from knowing his specific location within the complex. He can only see the sky and roof, so it's virtually impossible to plan an escape. He can exercise in a concrete pit resembling an empty swimming pool, also designed to prevent him from knowing his location. The pit is large enough only for him to walk 10 steps in a straight line or 30 steps in a circle. Correctional officers generally deliver food to El Chapo and other inmates in a small window of 15 minutes, while a prison guard watches from afar with a loaded rifle. This guard is permitted to shoot first and ask questions later. Sounds a little sick to me. But with all these measures, how is the American government and the Federal Bureau of Prisons so sure there's no way El Chapo can escape the Supermax? Well, the answer to that question lies in the fact that not only is inside the prison a fortress of security, but on the outside is also a minefield of death. And what I mean by that is, the prison's external areas have a multitude of motion detectors, cameras, and 1,400 remote-controlled steel doors. Officers in the control center monitor inmates 24 hours a day and can activate a panic button, which immediately closes every door in the facility should an escape attempt be suspected. Pressure pads and a 12-foot razor wire fence surround the perimeter, which is patrolled by heavily armed officers. Even though these measures are more than enough to hold down these prisoners, the security at ADX doesn't end there. There's a small town right down the road named Fort Carson that's home to a 4th Infantry Division, 10th Special Forces Group, a couple hundred combat vehicles, and 74 combat choppers. It would take 2 battalions of soldiers to break El Chapo out of this prison. So just like everybody else who has toured this prison, I believe it's impossible for El Chapo to break out, and I'll put my money on it. The only way he can actually leave the ADX Florence is if this happens. The loophole. As insane as the security is at ADX, many human rights activists believe the conditions are too harsh for a person. After all, even criminals are still human beings. But what these activists fail to understand is that ADX Florence wasn't built for every criminal.